new documentary is grappling with some of BC's most recent and devastating wildfires. Incandescence tells the stories that rise from the ashes of two different blazes and the communities forced to flee suddenly. Let's have a look.
A summer of fire has whipped around the world. Entire towns have been wiped off the map.
Thousands of people have been forced to flee their homes.
Hey, say goodbye to our house.
I can't believe this is happening.
We know we're on the front lines of climate change history right now, facing a fire season that is one of the most challenging we've ever experienced.
Fire's an insatiably hungry beast, and without intervention, it'll just keep going.
That is just a taste of Incandescence and its creators. The filmmakers are with us now. Nova, Ami, and Velcro Ripper, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate you sharing your documentary with us.
Yeah.
That is incredible access you had. Give us a sense of how close you actually were to these blazes, Nova.
Well, we captured this footage in a variety of ways. We had a cinematographer, Vince Arvidsson, that filmed the majority of our footage with our subjects, including going to the fire line with BC Wildfire at one point. We also collaborated with a couple of BC wildland firefighters who were also cinematographers, and they were able to go to places that we couldn't go to.
So they got in nicely, even more closely.
Exactly. And also, one of our subjects, David Newcomb, is a former camera person, and as fire was unfolding in his community, he captured it all on camera. So we used his footage to support his story as well.
And I know David from being in the business for a long time. He's an excellent shooter. Velcro, remind us, what blazes were you close to?
Sure. We focus on the film on the White Rock Lake fire and McDougall Creek fire, which, as you recall, it hit West Kelowna very hard.
That's right.
Yeah.
The devastation out of that. Was there something that you learned from this process that perhaps you didn't know before about wildfires? I'll start with you, Velcro.
Sure. Well, one of the things that surprised us was we always think of bad fire, but there's also good fire. And we discovered the practice of cultural burning, and we featured Indigenous firekeepers in the film. And they do this practice, which of low-intensity burns, which they've done for thousands of years, and they really help to slow down fires. And that was suppressed, and now it's coming back. And in fact, BC Wildfire is starting to work with Indigenous communities, as featured in the film, to do this.
Yes, and we've heard about that practice, and certainly BC Wildfire faced a lot of criticism from various communities. Nova, was there something that you learned in this process that perhaps that was eye-opening?
Well, you know, we really wanted to explore our relationship to fire, and especially in the context of these increasing megafires due to climate change. And, you know, we discovered that it's not so black and white. As Velcro mentioned, there is also good fire, and fire is good for the land. There are certain plant species that are activated by the heat of fire, and so it's not as black and white as we might think. Yeah.
What about the timing? There's a if I can call it, a lush sense of timing and pace of time passing in this film. Why was that a deliberate choice?
Well, we wanted to really explore the impact of fires on communities, on the landscape, and the impact on wildlife as well. So we went back to these areas in the Okanagan over the course of 2 years, 2 fire seasons. We went in the winters, we went in the springs, we went in the summer, to really explore the impact of fire and how it impacts these communities. And we wanted to have a film, or create a film that was very immersive, and so the pacing is more sort of conducive to that. Yeah.
And Velcro, when it comes to pacing and going back to these communities, what was that process like?
Well, I think a lot of times we hear about the fire and when it happens, but then we move on, we turn our eyes away. But for communities that are impacted, this journey goes on for years and years, the process of trying to rebuild if you can. And so we really wanted to capture that and go through the cycle and focus also on the mutual aid that happens in communities coming together in crisis to support each other, which is such an important thing in these times.
For people who want to watch this film, where can they watch it? How access all of that, Nova?
Well, we have an upcoming film tour in the places where we filmed in the Okanagan. That's coming up this week. And after that, there is going to be a Vancouver screening that's in the works. And then eventually, the film will live on the National Film Board of Canada's website for streaming for free for all Canadians at nfb.ca.
Great. And Velcro, lastly, for somebody who goes and watches this film, what do you want them to take out of it?
I think to take away an immersive experience of what it's like to go through a wildfire from the point of view of people and also non-humans as well, and to really experience that firsthand.
Full circle in terms of nature. Excellent. Velcro Ripper, Nova Ami, we really appreciate your time and you sharing this journey with us. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be here.